Welcome back, guys. This video is about a time where I did one thing and it almost made me bankrupt. And I want to make sure that you do not do this one thing. And it's something that a lot of people do, and it does make them bankrupt. So, I'm Raymond Taylor, and I'm going to show you how to create a freedom-based online coaching business from scratch. This thing is shiny object syndrome. When you first start making a little bit of money online, you start to connect in certain circles with different people doing things, and you hear about multiple streams of income, and you hear that the average entrepreneur has 7 streams of income. I don't believe that, because it almost made me bankrupt. When I first started coaching, I was starting to make some money, so I invested into a clothing brand. I invested some money into some stocks and shares. I started, investing into all sorts of different like programs that taught me how to do different things, different business models, thinking, if I've got more of these models going on, then I'm going to make more money. No. What it did is actually pulled me away from the thing that was working and moved me into areas that I didn't understand or were passionate about, and didn't get any results in any of those, and just spent all my money and nearly ended up with nothing again. Luckily, I went back and focused in on what I started off with, which is what I was passionate about, which was what I was good in, which was what I was making money in, which is what was born organically rather than just a desire and an opportunity to find a way of making money. And things started to grow again, and luckily to this day I'm now a multi-millionaire. But if I'd have spread myself too thin in things I didn't care about, I would have gone bankrupt, no doubt. There's another story that's similar, where Steve Jobs, if you've read his biography by Walter Isaacson, I believe, it's fascinating. Steve Jobs is a fascinating man. One of the things that's completely unrelated that I find crazy is he once wanted to find the color of the Mac, the first Mac, and he went to Pantone, which is the place that create colors, and went to the factory to pick out the color of beige that he wanted for the Mac. And he went through 2,000 types of beige and didn't find one he liked. Another thing Steve Jobs did was, when the iPhone 4 came out, it was the smallest iPhone they'd ever created, but he wanted it smaller. And they told him that it couldn't be smaller. A team of the best tech experts in the world. So they'd worked on it for months and months on end, and it's impossible. Every single tiny little bit of space is being used. And he threw it into a fish tank, and it sunk to the bottom, and bubbles rose to the top. And he said, "See, I told you it could be smaller," because he knew that there was airspace inside the phone. But the story that I wanted to tell you about Steve Jobs that's relevant to this is he was a very interesting CEO, and at one point the board of directors actually fired him as a CEO, and he left Apple for quite a long time, and he actually started his own company called Next, which was a computer that was designed for schools specifically. Huge, very high performance computer that was designed for schools. And interestingly, Apple were struggling, and they were about to go bankrupt, and they acquired Next, which was the company that Steve Jobs owned, and in the process were able to reappoint Steve Jobs as the CEO of the company that he founded. Fascinating story. But here's what's fascinating about it. He went in, he looked at all the products, and he said, scrap them all. Because they'd started dabbling with all sorts of different things, thinking that they could be, wow, they're Apple now, we're a billion-dollar company, we're one of the biggest, largest companies in the world, we can sell anything, people buy anything we sell. And they started selling, like, I don't even know what they were selling, like Apple radios or Apple TVs or electronic consumer products. But he scrapped it all back, and he said, let's go back to doing what we're best at, and let's focus on making those products insanely good. I think that was his words. And he went back to just the computer, the laptop, the phone. And yes, there has been a few products since, but if you look at it, the product range is still very small in comparison to what they could do if they wanted to. They could bring out all sorts of Apple products and people would buy them, but they don't, because obviously they realized that having focus and quality was more important than casting the net wider, looking for that new shiny object and that new thing that dilutes the focus, that pulls you away from the things that actually get results. The moral of this story that almost made me bankrupt is, do not dilute your focus. Do not think multiple streams of income is good straight away. Yes, you can have multiple streams of income once you've solidly established one stream. and it's automated, then you move to the next. You don't dabble with multiple, because your focus will be diluted, you'll be left with nothing. I hope that helps.
I'm Raymond Taylor, and I'm going to show you how to create a freedom-based online coaching business from scratch.